Mr. Otero, good evening. How's everyone doing? I get my phone to stay in a place. Boosh. I'm in a hotel room. Yo, 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 I'm in a hotel room in the Bradford. Figure. See who's about. Fart around on my guitar. Well done. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Thank you. In fact, should we, I'm gonna, like, get you on here. Go live. Demon winner. If you're free, I mean, unless you like Damon Pedley, who was in the bath. You know.
Sorry, dude.
Hey.
I was cooking it, but I've turned it off. It's all good.
Are you sure you don't have to do this, mate?
No, it's all good, dude. Don't mind. I'm literally just working. That's what I'm doing. So it's all good.
All right. Why? What you're doing is anything we can talk about?
Just emails and work. Same
Oh,
old,
no.
same old, same old. Yeah. So
Yeah.
really.
I'll tell you what. That's the worst part about doing a commission business, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I don't
The
mind
bit
it.
that actually puts all the work in, just sat there. Like I'm not a typer.
No, well, yeah. Well, I had 9 years of it, so you can't
Yeah.
get away
Oh,
from it.
okay.
Yeah. So it's all good. So why are you in Bradford?
Because I'm looking after the Games Workshop there for them.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. And I know you do like you cover the odd ones and stuff, so I wasn't too sure.
Yeah. The manager there, the poor lad, is a bit ill.
Yeah.
So, ooh, just dropped my amp. He's a bit ill. So, and he's a lovely lad as well at that.
Yeah.
These are top, by the way.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're quite good. They're really good. Black
At
Star
this
come a long
school.
way. Like
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
in the last sort of couple of
I,
years, anyway. I haven't picked a guitar up in a long time, so
no, I remember you saying.
there's one sitting here, but it's got no strings on it, mate. So like long old time, lefty as well.
Whoa,
But,
I
no.
like it.
Yeah, I haven't touched it in years. Like, it's got no strings on it, nothing.
Well, hey, I tell you what, I'll fix it up when you come up to Manchester.
Yeah, I'll hold you to that because I haven't. It's a lefty as well, though, dude.
Yeah,
So
mate, it'd be a pleasure. It'd be a pleasure.
yeah,
I'd definitely love to do that.
yeah.
My favourite bit about this is it runs forever on just batteries. Like, forever. I take it anywhere with me.
Yeah, dude.
Fits in my guitar case. You know, winner, chicken dinner.
Tell me about it. How long are you covering for?
Till January at least.
That's not too bad.
And it might end up more.
But what? So what are you doing? You commuting to? You staying in Bradford the whole time, or are you?
Go home at weekends.
No, that's not too bad.
So last weekend was a bit of a grueler for me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I basically got home, travelled. Sorry, I finished work, straight home, got my shit ready for Golden Demon.
Yeah.
Straight, obviously barely slept because I'm in bed like that. You know, knowing what I'm about to do. Because nobody else did. You know, I kept it under me hat, which is unlike me because I'm a bit gobby.
It's all right.
Now.
Nothing wrong with that. It's good though.
No.
You done well though, didn't you? So.
You know, I'm over the moon.
Okay.
Honestly, I really am. I'm over the moon. It's fucking nuts.
No.
It is.
It's good.
Because,
good. Deserving.
You know.
Like, he's mega as well. Like I always like to deconstruct what someone's done and have a look at, like, for example, the parts and things. Like I said to you about the head on him because
on Ragnar.
Yeah, because he's a stern guard, didn't he? So it's just
Yeah.
it's interesting to always see sort of how other people approach their interpretation of models and parts used and things like that. Because I think that's half of it. Like half of it is, you know, you could have one person interpret a model or character. Obviously, there's a bespoke model that's obviously been made by Games Workshop, but then you've got people interpret it in so many different ways and use different parts to produce their vision of that character. You know, especially with models being models like that have been a lot older, and you know, not having such sort of good sort of sculpts and things. But yeah, no, good.
I think that was the thing. I mean, I chose that stern guard head because it had a real modern look to it. You know, there's not because most Space Marine heads to me have what I call it almost a James Goodwin-ism about them. You know, because I think like back in the day, he had just like the best sculpted heads there ever was on humans and Space Marines, and that one kind of really doesn't have that. There's something like a little bit more rounded about him, where generally Space Marines are more chiseled. And when I compared that head to the original Ragnar head, it just looked the closest. At least the face looked closest.
Yeah. No, totally.
So I took all the hair off. You know, I balded him out and then put the top knot on and re-sculpted the hair back on and down and around. You know, actually, I did sculpt teeth in as well. You know, fangs.
Yeah.
But for some mad reason, I just couldn't get the green stuff to stick in there right.
Yeah. No, I and also that face as well conveys a lot of aggression as well, which is really nice. Which is fitting because he is, you know. Yeah, it's all the lines on it's the deep recesses on either. So he's got two, hasn't he? It's like one there, one there, one there, one there. So it's
those ones are painted on.
Yeah.
So, but when I look for a face, generally I'll look for a couple of things, and if I don't find them, I'll end up painting them on. But I'm generally looking for two strong creases here.
Yeah.
And two strong creases here, and two strong creases there. And if I can find these being the most accentuated, then that's the bit that really helps me plan out all these other lines, of which I've got a fucking load to choose from, apparently. You know?
Yeah.
And then what's interesting is I kind of let the lines paint themselves. Mm-hmm. So if, like, I'll rarely do brush strokes when I'm base coating a model, at least if I think about it. I generally do the brush strokes across, and if there's some lines that are left, you kind of let them map in what happens.
Yeah, they're good. The stern guard heads are some of the best, I think. And obviously, some of the new plastic Primaris ones are really good. But I've always liked them. I've always think they've got great detail. The guy with the beard's really good. There's one or two that have got the eye sockets are a bit smaller on, but generally they're brilliant. You know, really good.
Yeah, they are. Good fun, aren't they?
Good. It's a good weekend, wasn't it? I didn't stay for the Sunday. I wasn't around. I had loads to get on with.
No, I didn't stay for the Sunday at all. I sat on the train.
Beaming.
At one time,
massive print.
I mean, at one point, I took the demon out of my bag, and I just sat there looking at it. And obviously, the people around me are like, "Why is this guy looking at a dolly?"
Yeah.
Or do you know what I mean? Whatever it is. But, do you know what? I do feel, and I said in a video last night, I do feel like the atmosphere of the fucking world has changed around me.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. I mean, how did your first demon feel? Do you feel like
good?
Feel different?
It does. It's like it's not a club, but I don't know. It's that notch that everyone's looking for because everyone invests so much passion and time into the hobby and in making their models, painted and all that. So it's kind of like it's kind of like the tip of the hat or nod to say that you know from the company that makes the model. That's the way that I looked at it when you know. But yeah, you know, something I'm sure many other people, anyone who's watching this, or you know, and whenever you talk to anyone that hasn't won one, it's the thing that they've you know since they've been a kid, like buying White Dwarf or whatever. It's just the thing that you know everyone aspires to with their painting or should aspire to if they're mega into painting. But no, it's good. Yeah, it's beaming.
Validated, I think, is
the
word.
I think probably the validation is probably the word. But yeah, no, like beaming. Like, it's like a kid in a sweet shop, honestly. Like you know, super happy. So
I can't disagree with that. I actually, and I'm not one for kind of showing off. Although some might disagree. I actually got me finalist pins as well, and I've put them on my name badge.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was kind of inspired by other people doing that. Because I'm not like one for blowing my own trumpet, though I do show people what I do.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Like for the seeing other people at Golden Demon Awards, they're proud of the finalist pins.
Yeah, it should
Even
be. It's
people
good.
who've just got fineless pins and they're proud of them and they're showing them off and they do look like it was quite militaristic in my opinions.
We have a parade.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I just thought, do you know what, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why not, eh?
That's good. I'm a bit more regimented than that. I've got a blooming folder with all my entry forms that I've got back, my slips.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a little binder that's got them all in. I just keep because
Oh,
it
brilliant.
shows you progression, doesn't it, when you first start entering,
Yeah, yeah,
all the
yeah.
way through. Yeah, but it's it's good. I'll tell you what, it felt like a little fest. A lot of people were saying it. It felt like a little bit of a classic because it was the last sort of mini one. I think you had
Yeah.
lots of people entering, and there was a metric ton of metric ton of people entering, which is really good, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It did. A lot of people said it felt like a little classic, so to speak. But which
And
was
the
really,
energy was electric for me.
yeah, no, definitely, it was
That's before any mention of awards
yeah. No, it's good.
raised their head. Like I was giddy as fuck. Like it was top.
No, that's
You know,
fine.
I tell you what was interesting was see seeing people who I'm like, oh, do I know you? You're looking at me a little bit. Do you know me? And
Well, that's the
you
good
keep
thing.
eye contact with people, and I'm just like, I'm really conscious now that these people who maybe I could have, would have, should have said hello to, but I didn't do because
Yeah, yeah.
maybe I wasn't sure or they weren't sure, and it makes me realize how quick that day went and how little
It
I
did just
actually got
fly
to
it flew
speak.
by. Yeah. I
It
tell you
did,
what, I thought it opened at 9 for some reason. I don't know why. I
yeah,
printed off the ticket and everything. I put it on the side in the office, and it was only on Friday that I grabbed it when I was on my way home, I didn't think about the time or anything. So I literally just jumped in the car in the morning. Got up. I'm up super early every day anyway, but I was like, right, okay, I'm just going to jump in the car and go. And I was like, I think it opens at 9 o'clock. I got there and I was like an hour early. I was like, oh, I didn't even realise it was 10 o'clock. So yeah,
wow.
it's quite funny. But
I tried to go into town when I got off the train to go and get my head all shaved.
yeah.
So I forgot to shave that morning. I don't like having my facial hair too long. I don't like having it down to the skin either.
I've got
But
some you can borrow if you want. I need a shade, Jesus.
yeah, I just can't. I've
Yeah.
tried growing a beard, and it just goes, it goes up my nose
I
and
hate it.
everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Worry. It's when you got
Oh,
more hair here than you got on top that you have to worry.
I kind of already do it when it's shaved,
Yeah.
you know.
But
But I tell you what, I have to say, the man who I have to publicly say, the man Noki Studio has just joined.
yeah.
He bought me the ticket for going. For all those that don't know.
Good
In
on you.
fact, how many people know you, Mr. James? Do you want
I
to
don't
tell
know.
the?
I try. I'm not, other than the odd bit and bob that I do. Like, I do. I don't try and sort of, I try and keep myself to myself a little bit because
Yeah,
I'm doing it. I work within the industry every day. It's like I just I can't. Sometimes you feel like you can't escape it. That's why with this and doing my own personal stuff, I don't really update it often, just because I don't get a lot of time to paint at the moment.
yeah, man.
And secondly, it's just like I think it's like my little corner for just me to do the bits that I sort of want to do. It's just time. It's the one commodity we don't get any more of.
Yeah, man.
I've got
Yeah,
loads of stuff.
God made more of that than anything
Oh,
else.
dude, if I could get an extra day a week, I'd be like the happiest man in the world. Like, don't worry about anything else, just more time. That's the one thing
Yeah,
I probably could do with a lot more of. You can only sort of organise your day or organise your workload to a point, and then it's like I still can't fit everything in. And the things that, especially when you're doing it for work and stuff like that, especially like you kind of have to sacrifice your own kind of thing, and that's kind of the for me, or the way I see it, that's kind of the benefit of doing, say, what you love for money,
yeah.
and sacrifice your own aspect of that a little bit, which some people can do, some people can't. It's just the way that it is. But yeah, I try and keep myself to myself a little bit, but
Yeah. But
and
you've
not.
you've still got two businesses to promote, essentially, aren't you?
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah, well, Siege being
if you
one of
want
them.
to do it, do it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's here for you to do.
Yeah. I mean,
So
Siege being one of them, and then Artis Opus being the other. But I'm one of three directors of AO. AO's, there's three of us obviously that own the business and run it, and then
yeah,
obviously
man.
Siege is myself plus obviously the team, and it's just and I really mean that. You know, we're our team. I'm not a boss. I haven't put my feet on the desk or anything like that. You know, I built Siege from the desk up. You know, and that's sort of like, you know, where it came from. But a lot of work. 5 years in January, so that'll be.
It's an interesting experience building something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's not easy. You know, from outside.
Oh, I know.
You know, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, from an outside perspective, it's you know, you know, it looks whatever it is, blah blah. But you know, it hasn't been easy. It's hard. You know,
You do rely on others around you. I really did, because I was a wreck, me.
Yeah,
back then.
I was a wreck. It's not easy, but the thing is, I think 9 years working in recruitment prepped me for it really well. So
you know,
that's you know, but yeah, jumping from going from a full-time paid job to doing this, which was like 2-3 years ago, I think it was now that I went full-time running Siege. So so yeah, it was. I'll tell you what, I was bricking it, because it's a huge thing. You know, you get comfortable with a salary and a PAYE job and all of that, and then
filling in your own tax returns, keeping a record of everything.
Yeah.
Even worse, keeping a record of everybody else's shit.
Well, yeah, that's another bit of it as well, which is, you know, not the easy side of it, but you know, it does what it does, and you just have to get the right people in the right place, and that's the beauty of it when you've got.
That's the scary thing, though, isn't it? Is the only way to find out if you've got the right people in the right place is to give them that opportunity. Exactly. And hope it all goes right, and then carry on going right.
You trust from day one, and as soon as that trust is broken, then, you know, they don't work with you anymore. And it's unfortunately, in any job or any industry or anything, especially when you're doing things on a professional level and you're not doing it per se as a hobby, which is, you know, the word hobby is synonymous with our industry, because it's a hobby to a lot of people. So, you know, approaching it in any other fashion, you have to treat it like a job, and it is a job. You know, first and before anything else.
It really is.
You know, so yeah, but
I never used to make it easy me to get in to my studio at all.
No,
you know, I did like recruitment days. You know, so like, here's a unit of 10 men, go and paint 10 men. Yeah. You know, and you've got X amount of time, and here's a brief. Exactly. Do it to the brief.
It's not just. I mean, the thing is, though, you know, it's not just from my perspective. It's not just about you know, ability. Ability is obviously important, because when you're trying to provide a service or you're trying to do a certain thing, is massively important. Yeah, but I think it's more of a 50-50 between personality and not morals isn't the right word, but sort of, you know, fit, the personality characteristic and fit, and balance with ability. I would probably much rather. There's no here nor there, but you have to judge every person by their ability, and also by their demeanour and the way they are. And that does come from my recruitment days, because, you know, I used to have, when I was doing high street before I'd done more sort of senior roles when I was recruiting. High street, you've got people coming in, day out. I've got low battery. I'll get my charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
A minute. You know, you've got people coming in, day out for work and stuff like that. And you can assess character and personality to an extent, but, you know, I'd rather have someone that's, you know, got the right personality and right fit and the right mindset, because that's more what it's about. Mindset is huge, massively more important than
absolutely,
than ability. Ability will come with you know, if someone's got the skeleton and framework of talent or ability, that can progress. But you know, personality is something that we have from day one. So you know, that's more important personally to me, because you've got to get the right person on board. Because that person's going to be with you 3, 4, 5, however long years. So you want to make sure
and be responsible for your reputation.
Exactly. Yeah. You know. Exactly. And they have to treat it as such, because, you know, it's difficult when you're doing your own thing on your own. You know, your neck's on the line and your reputation's on the line. But when you transfer and work for a business, you have to really, in all intents and purposes, treat it as your own. You know, and you wouldn't want to do something which would devalue the larger group that you're part of. And, you know, it's
it's interesting you say all those things earlier on about fit, skills, blah blah blah. Because, like, again, that's exactly what I looked for, and I'd have the conversation with them all. You know, there's 3 things I'm looking for, and I can only give you 2 of them.
Yeah.
And this comes from Games Workshop, and it breaks down like this: knowledge, skills, and behavior.
Yeah.
I can give you knowledge, and I can help you develop your skills, but the rest is up to you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you if your behaviour's off, and then it's up to your behaviour to fix that behaviour.
100%.
Knowledge, skills, behaviour.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's the way that people are is massively. I'd say for me, and whenever I put an advert out or whenever anyone approaches or whatever, it's hugely more important than ability to an extent. There has to be ability to get to a certain point, but then once that box is ticked, so to speak, personality and the person are 10 million more times important for me, because it's a longevity, so longevity of the relationship and the working relationship. Because all the guys at Siege, they aren't just people who work for the business. They are. I'd like to, and I'm quite happy to say that they're friends as well. And the most important thing is that even though in business you've got to be professional and all of that, at the same time, in this kind of industry, you've got to be on good terms with all the guys, because if they don't, if there's any dislike or resentment or anything like that, then it doesn't, it doesn't breed a good working relationship. So it's hugely important.
I've been on the end of that. That's my health, mental, physical, that affected the business downwards. Obviously,
it happens. We're all human, Tommy. It's just.
Yeah. I don't resent it. It was definitely a lesson. I mean, there's times I think about it, and I think maybe that.
Sorry, dude. I'm still on. I'm just going to try and find a bloody charger. Hang on 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's all right, man.
But yeah, no, I 100% agree with you about that. It's half of it is hugely important. I mean, I know you went through some bits and bobs with Golem and stuff like that, and it happens. Everyone, we all have that situation. It's just, unfortunately, the one thing in life that's difficult is human beings. They're not the easiest things in the world. Where the hell's my charger? Hang on 2 seconds, let me try and find it.
It's all right. It's all right.
Was not prepared whatsoever.
It's like watching a Blair Witch Project.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. I'm not doing any screaming.
There's going to be some guy in a hoodie behind you.
I'm not going to be any screaming. Sorry, dude. But yeah, no, that's half of it is the personality aspect of it is the huge part of things. Just trying to plug this in. So yeah.
Well, the thing is, I actually went through it. It wasn't just an idea. So maybe for you, it's an idea that possibly could happen. I really hope it doesn't. And there wasn't just me involved in all this mess. There was friends, close friends, family. There was painters. There was clients involved in all of essentially my downfall, and that's part of why I'm pretty open about it now, because I do see it as a learning experience. I don't resent it. At times I did, I really did. But again, the more and more I look at life, the more and more I see these things as opportunities and gifts. But mainly, I'm open about it again so I can help people.
Yeah, you got to be.
I'm all right. I'm all right being open about me physical health, me mental health, the state of my business. And on the other side of it, I tell you what, me painting lessons are amazing. That the painting lessons come to me not as frequently as I'd like. However, the last 2 weeks, they've just bombed right up. Almost every weekend, I've got some.
It's really, really good.
So that's amazing. And
I knew you were doing your was it your fundamentals, isn't it? I think is that what you were doing the other week? Was that the one you said to me you were doing?
Yeah. So just did a trial run of the new way I teach it, because the more and more I did the private lessons, the more and more I refined the way I taught it. And I can't remember how I taught you when you came round, but did I use the whiteboard? I have a whiteboard, and I kind of go down it in a certain order now.
I think you had one on your wall. I can't remember. It was your
so if you can't remember, then you probably didn't do it, so it might have came after you.
Yeah.
But what I started doing was I started encouraging people to take a picture of the whiteboard once I'd got through it.
Yeah.
Because all that information I'd got, I thought I'd refined it to its what's it, to its singularity, if you will. Right, but I hadn't, and so I tried that out. Now, after having done say about a year of just teaching that way, and I tried it out in a class, and it just worked a treat.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is even though it's more refined, which would infer there's kind of less information, there's actually now more information to take from it. And it's just made me realize that actually now, I used to do the old course in 8 hours, maybe just under.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing, I'd say I'd need 2 days now because of those refinements, which kind of doesn't seem intuitive.
2 days is better, yeah. Like
2 days definitely better. Well, you've done it, haven't you? So, you know,
it's like 2 days. I think it breaks. You can break up different. Depending on what you're doing, you can break up topics quite well, which is good. And also as well, after 7 to 8 hours, especially in a confined sort of environment or when you're very focused on what you're doing, 7 hours is grueling. Like, you know, most people at work.
Yeah,
people,
I won't do it for anyone.
Yeah, like most people on a day at work, you know, they're probably not concentrating as much, I would say, as when they're painting, perhaps, because obviously you're concentrating quite a lot when it comes to that. But yeah, when you're 7 hours of concentration to that point is pretty. After that, you know, a lot of people tend to sort of like start switching off.
Yeah, it's the 6 hour mark. The 6 hour mark. I've not met anybody other than myself. And that's rare. I've not met anybody that gets to the 6 hour mark and doesn't go. And really what they mean is, I want to stop. Yeah. And at the moment I see it, I go, are we ready to stop? And almost everybody says, yeah. Anybody that's done the full 8 hours, which is rare,
yeah,
are not happy that they've done it.
Yeah, that'll put a decent break in the middle, which I find works quite well. Like a 45-minute break or something like that for people to just step away, and also varying up the depending on what you're teaching, varying up the section. So if it's something that maybe it requires massive focus, you do that nice and early in the morning, so then you can get that section sort of over and done with, so the mass concentration's there, and then you can do more, perhaps a bit of theory towards the end of that, and then have the big sort of break for lunch or whatever, and then go back into another heavy section and repeat that kind of again. So you get two sort of double hits of like strong concentration if that goes. But yeah, no, that works quite well. But I'm glad they're going really well. I see Steve's put about Journeyman. Journeyman's in London, isn't it? I think.
Well, there's one down in St Albans. There's one lad there, and there's one lad, Mally Anderson, in Hull, and Mally really looked after me. You know, gave me a bed to sleep in, fed me, watered me. You know, went to the pub. And then did the event, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know we bought a ticket? And this made my eyes boggle, right? But he couldn't make it. He sent a message on the day. He was really ill on the day. Michael Anderson bought a ticket.
Did he?
Yeah. 22 golden demons to his name. And he's bought a ticket to come on my course. And when I found out, I had to send him a message. I said, are you sure you're going to the right thing in the right place? And he was like, yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, when you've got that kind of reputation, he's got to know what he's on about. He's got to know why he's coming.
Yeah.
You know, so that was interesting. And it was nice to, you know, kept in touch with him now. And I can't wait to actually give him all the information anyway, because, you know, why wouldn't I?
Well, no, exactly.
You know,
where is it? Where's St Albans? Because I used to live in St Albans. I lived there for like two odd years.
Well, I don't know. I've not been down there yet, but I'm pretty sure at some point they'll get me down there.
It's lovely in St Albans. I really like it.
It's all right, isn't it? I basically lived for 3 months out of a B&B there. And then in March,
you were in the St Albans store, weren't you? Were you in the St Albans store for a bit?
Yeah, it was a single next door a comic shop.
That's it, in that little court.
Yeah, and that it was March, and it was the year that it snowed like mad for months in March, like March to April. And I was that bored because all I did was work and live in this B&B. And it was like Groundhog Day. And I wasn't paying any bills because, you know, Games Workshop treat me really good like that. You know, they help me out with everything. And what I ended up doing was I ended up going to a local snowboard shop buying a snowboard, all the gear, just so I could go down the hill where the
Oh, the
cathedral is.
cathedral. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know the one.
And that was what I did because I was bored.
Yeah.
Like literally, I had this money, and the other thing I did was I used to go into London and just hang around Soho, the whiskey bars, and just drink posh whiskey, just to know why whiskey snobs were whiskey snobs.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good.
so
I used to like living there. It's a really really nice town, or city, should I say? 'Cause it's got a cathedral, but yeah, it's just I think it's good sort of for commuting up north because it's right next to the M1.
yeah,
And then it's perfect for London as well. That's why I think it's a commuter town. It's one of most. I think it's one of the most expensive
yeah.
towns in this or cities in the country. I think. But yeah.
15 minutes from London, man. It was easy peasy on the train, wasn't it?
So you at the shop now till New Year, or are you going to be back? Or are you going back and forth? Back and forth?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully the lad is all recovered by the new year and he's back in his store. You know, that's the ideal situation, and I'll be free to come back and do whatever.
Yeah.
But well, like I say, I don't think I'm really. If things carry on the way they're going to carry on, and especially since winning this demon, me friends' requests and followers on Instagram have just immediately had a boost, and it's not even that public yet. It's going to be public in the painting circles, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be nuts. I think. I don't think I'm really going to get an actual day off to myself until, do you know, maybe even March or April.
That's not a bad thing though. That's good.
No, it's not, because I love teaching.
Yeah.
I basically get to stand to brew up all day in my own house. So that's all right. And somebody goes away, hopefully, well educated and happy.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. The one thing for me is, so I was going stir crazy. Like when I went full time and I was working at home.
Yeah.
After a while, I mean, it's great when you first, obviously, because you're super motivated, but working at home is one of the biggest distractions ever. Just because, your life is here, so you know what I mean. So getting somewhere to work from, like an office or something, or just a location or something, is just I find it just more focusing. So it's just, but then the problem is, as you know, when you work for yourself or what you think, it's very difficult to step away from it because you're so passionate and driven about it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm still here, emails at whatever time it is, but yeah, but yeah, I'm just
Yeah, man. So how long before you move to Manchester?
Hoping early New Year. There's a thing.
Okay, that too.
Yeah, there's a thing with the tenancy at my office. So when I changed the tenancy agreement back last year, I think that the cutout clause is longer than what we discussed. Basically, long story short.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I'm hoping for February, at the very latest, if not earlier. January would be best, just because then it's a quiet month or quieter month, because obviously everyone's recovering after New Year and Christmas and all of that. So probably I'd say end of January, beginning of February is when I aim to be. But for me, the sooner really the better. I hate six. I've been here for 20 years and I hate it. I absolutely hate it, like with a passion. So there's only so many impersonators of Tower you can put up with for a while.
Yeah. So are you gonna kind of do what Byron did and remake your accent as well, from the southern one to the northern one?
I think it's difficult because I think even though I'm told by a few when I've talked about it, I haven't got the strongest Essex accent, and I try and hide it as much as possible. But
no, don't hide it, mate. Don't hide it. I tend to become more Mancunian when I leave Manchester. I'm a little bit of a proud Mancunian. I think if you've got an accent, flaunt it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Well, I'll just switch to Spanish to confuse people, so it's fine.
Why can you speak Spanish?
Yeah, I can
speak Spanish. Yeah.
What?
I started teaching myself Spanish recently.
Good language. Yeah, it's good language. Yeah, having a second one's always useful. That's probably why I talk so quickly, because the Spanish language is very sort of quickly spoken. So I think that kind of transfer. That's the thing I picked up from when I was taught both as a kid. But yeah, it's not bad. No, it's not too bad. So what are you doing? What are you painting or working on at the moment? Then you got much yourself that you're.
I'm actually in the store at the moment, I'm putting together a Lord Aquilar, but I think I might just paint some of the Blackstone Fortress bits
Oh,
out
they're
of
incredible.
the
They're absolutely incredible models. Like
yeah,
they are, for the kits that they are, they're incredible. Even the previous one that came out, what was it, the Road Trader
yeah,
bot?
yeah,
Female assassin in that is I've got her to paint, and she's
yeah.
incredible model. But
All those new box games, they need to be bought by me because
uh,
there'll only be limited runs. You know, the Kill Team starter set that's going off sale
yeah, yeah,
after this next delivery,
yeah.
so that'll sell out for Christmas. You know, and Kill Team's being supported for
Yeah, well,
a few
they've got
years.
enough.
So I
They've got
recommend.
enough of it out now, haven't they? They've got all the supplement boxes, all the little individual squad boxes, the character
Mhm.
ones.
Yeah.
So they should be. They've got a lot of different
Well,
products out for the range now.
they're supporting Kill Team for 2 years, as far as I know.
Yeah,
Now, what that's going to include, I don't know. But I think Blackstone's going to be a limited run, kind of like Space Hulk. So I've heard.
the Space Hulk's been out quite a few times. Though. It's come out 3 times in the last couple of years. That
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It has come out 3 times. And the third time, it had some extra bits in it, extra mission and some extra tiles.
yeah,
But
sitting up.
I think if people want Blackstone, they need to go now on it. I think that's ultimately the point, you know. And the same with Kill Team. If you want that Kill Team starter set, you've got to go now on it.
Yeah, I didn't buy the set, but I bought because I know it comes with a great scenery in it. But I bought the book just because the book I thought I can put Kill Teams from together from bits and bobs. I got
Yeah,
6 cabinets, but but yeah, the set's not too bad. But yeah, it's a great way to get. It's the gateway for 40k though, isn't it? So it's
yeah, yeah. But it's not only that, like even when I think as a collector, because I'm the kind of nerd that'll buy two and keep one in the wrapper, just
Mate,
because I've then
if
got
you were
one
to
in the
see on top
wrapper.
of my wardrobe, you would laugh. Like favorite
And,
core sets, it's like it's bad. I got
but
an addiction.
that's the thing, though, isn't it? There's people who'll buy stuff as an investment to sell on later on, which is not my style.
No,
But when you are a collector, when you see it retain its price or you see it grow in desire once it's left the shelf, you kind of get that little chubby about it, don't you?
yeah, unfortunately, it happens quite a bit, and you'll see it you go on the likes of eBay or places, or trading groups and stuff, and they'll be run amok
Yep.
with spares or things like that. Which I think the worst thing I saw was what was the magazine thing that came out? Conquest, wasn't it? It was a
Oh
magazine.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There was like multiple lots of free paints that come with it in like trading groups and things like that. Like multiple,
Really?
yeah,
I
loads.
wonder. I wonder if because they had the limited edition Space Marine, didn't they? That went along with that. I
Yeah, it
wonder
was
if.
another lieutenant. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's an interesting thing. It is loads. They,
There's
they are like
so
the
many.
same model again and again.
Well, yeah, it's slightly different, but yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
But yeah, not too bad. But yeah. So do you know where you're at after you've been at this shop, or do you know?
No, no. I'm up for more work. Always up for more work, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the new year. The new year is gonna be busy. My phone ain't charging. Why isn't my phone charging?
I don't know, it
Got
is.
it. I've got it plugged the fuck in. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, no, yeah, like I said, I haven't had much time to work paint anything recently at all, like literally at all. But which is a bit of a shame, but it just is what it is. I'm actually looking forward to Christmas so that I can actually have some time to myself to paint.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm like, do you want to come over? Like, yeah, I'd like to come over, but I fancy some time alone actually. It's as sad as that sounds, but it just gives me time to do some bits I want to do.
So, are you not like strict on your leisure to work time, like deliberately as a sensible business idea?
Yes and no, within reason. I kind of have bursts. Like the real difficulty is that because I always one of my first jobs when I was a kid was just like a DIY shop, like a big UK based DIY shop,
Yeah.
and I used to laugh at the man, like as a kid, like 15, 16. I used to think, oh God, this guy is the manager. He literally works, he lives to work, and But the thing is he was working for a company. It wasn't his business, but because he was in a senior position, obviously he treated it as it was, which is understandable. But the real problem I think I find is that because both Siege and AO it doesn't feel like work. It feels. I'm super passionate about both, and the problem is that I can't. Look who's just joined, Mr. Heraldez. Good evening.
I know, yeah.
And the problem
Hello.
The problem is that I don't know when to switch off when it comes to it. Like, you'll get up to a certain point in your emails, then another will come in, or someone will reply, or something like that, and you're like, well, I'm on it now. It'll just take a couple of seconds to do that, and it just it keeps on like that. So, as we say, what is it? 9:45, and I'm sitting here and I'm still doing emails now, and I've been at the office all day, and it's just like, obviously I could be painting now if I wanted to, but I think the thing is, my issue is I don't know when to put it down, which is I think it's perfectly normal when you do your own business and stuff, but it is something that I am evidently always trying to improve upon, but it comes with it, I suppose, So yeah, but that's the thing I've got to get better at, is just learning to have a little bit more time. That's why I've had the same bloody entry for the last year nearly. You know what I mean? It's like,
one of the biggest things I learned from my business partner, Mike, at the time, is he was very strict on his working hours, because he kept his full-time job at the same time.
Yeah.
And while we were running the studio, so we had I think we had at tops 13 painters. So there was enough work to keep all 13 painters in 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
We were never slow on work. Maybe at Christmas it slowed down a little bit. I can remember one year. Yet Mike was always strict that these are the hours. The customers get me in those hours, and then after that is my time. And I tell you what, that guy was a workhorse.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I figured he relied on him. I mean, he actually made the business. That's the big thing to know. I've just become the beneficiary of something essentially that he created. That's the truth of it. And a lot of people don't know that, though. I do say often, Mike created it. Mike got the clients, the corporate ones. Mike built the site, he arranged it all, and then he just kind of came to me one day, and there you go. But then I think I've told you with this, haven't I?
Yeah. It's all good, it's that is, that's one thing that I think I'm very regimented with what I do. Like, when I'm doing a task, I'm focused on it and I get it done. But the reality is that, like, it never ends, like with any job.
Yeah,
it's not like a normal job where you go home to your family or to your kids or to your own personal hobbies or other bits and bobs, and you're like, this is my time now. Like, it follows me home. Like, it's on, especially with social media and emails on phones and things like that. You can't get away from it. So it becomes more of a personal thing. It's like, right, I'm doing this now. It's got nothing to do with work. It's got nothing to do with this. But I think because of the way I am with all the guys, like, they know that they can contact me at any time and I'll get back to them as soon as possible, or literally at that moment. If the thing I repeat to them day in, day out, and they must get sick of it, is like, if you need anything, just let me know, give me a shout, and that's the thing. And it literally, I might as well have it on record because I say it so much. But the reality is that I want that, that they've, every single one of them's got that support from me, in the sense of that, it is my number one priority, which is, because I haven't got kids, and it's just, it is like having two children, and but except they don't be sick and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, here's something actually, because there's however many people been watching, and if it's all right with you, if I can get a copy of this and bang it on my YouTube channel, I will do.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, it's fine.
Have you got any advice? Because normally it's me giving the advice for people who are commission painting or thinking about it.
The industry,
the one-man band or otherwise.
That's the thing, because my experience on it is I started this business in a similar sort of way, but the advice I give is just be clear and concise with people. Like, the one thing that you've got to juggle, doing it one man, the one thing I've got to juggle is obviously client expectations and also the workload, which is the difficult part of it, because you've got to obviously work on the project yourself and also do all the other bits, the marketing, the branding, the client interaction, all those things as well. So there's lots of plates that you've got to spin. But the one thing I'd say is be clear, be concise. Don't let yourself be bent over a barrel, which is, massively
agreed.
And manage those client expectations, because the reality is if you're investing X amount of time into something, you need to make sure that the client understands that is what they're going to be getting. I think that
absolutely.
There's a lot of grey lines in place and grey area, and it is a bit of a minefield,
How do you, if you don't mind telling people that is, how do you make sure that clients are clear on what they're getting in? Because I know how I did it. I know exactly how I did it. I'm very happy.
I don't do any form of social media messaging with clients at all whatsoever. Everything is done by email, because they've got
absolutely.
The problem is because we all have instant. It's and sorry to go on a slight tangent, but the reality is because
you do it, mate.
We have instant gratification pummeled into us from all angles every day, whether it be social media, whether it be the likes of buying something now. If I can go on Amazon now or eBay now, buy something now, and it will turn up tomorrow. So the reality is with all those platforms in place and all those things that sort of boost instant gratification, when you're combining that with doing business and doing not negotiations with the client or whatever, but you're doing it in a friend-based or message-based way of doing it, it doesn't come across as business or professional. It comes across like you're talking to your mate John or talking to your mate Bob.
And it's also harder to follow the paper trail.
Exactly. Yeah, it's massively difficult. So one bit of advice I give is just get everything in writing, so then you can always relate back to it. And I would never ever do any kind of interaction for any kind of commission or anything through any kind of social media platform messaging service. So your Instagram Messenger, Facebook, obviously, Twitter, any of those things. It takes 2-3 seconds to set up. An email and use an email when you need one for for all social medias anyway. But you use your social media as your fishing nets to basically get your business, and then do everything in writing, because then there's no disillusion, and that it makes your job especially as I said, when you're one man and you're trying to juggle actually painting the models and doing the work as well as do all the other bits and bobs that come with it, which is the difficult thing, and that is the hardest thing. When you're having those kind of communications and those kind of chats with people through a platform that doesn't come across like it's a negotiation or a business transaction, it devalues massively the experience for the client, and also at the same time it makes their interpretation of you as more of a friend or someone they can message at any point or whatever the case may be. Whereas if you're very black and white with, if you want to get hold of me, you drop me an email. If you want this, email. If you want this, and then that way you've always got that reference to go back to. And that's one bit of
Mike was like that. Mike was like that. He was just douche. There's some facts. Eat it or leave it, and that's that.
It is the biggest bit of advice I could give anyone that is thinking about it or wanting to do it on their own. And that's.
I'm going to throw one in if that's all right.
Yeah.
My biggest piece of advice: you said get it in writing. I say get it in painting afterwards. Yeah. So what I always make sure every one of my painters did is if you've got 1,000 points of Empire Soldiers to do, you paint one Empire Soldier exactly how you want it, show it to the client, and the client okays that before you do anything else. Because it's much easier to correct one model and then paint 100 than it is to correct 100.
Yeah, I agree with you in principle, because the thing is that doing that does help you, but then there's other things as well you can put in place that give you a very similar end result and end goal. But because it's the time investment for producing that one model that I find, I mean, this is just from my experience when I was doing it on my own, that the time investment for doing one model, it does give you that point of reference and that that sign off for everything, which you're 100% correct on and 100% right. But doing that one model and doing the whole process on that one model from start to finish,
Mm-hmm.
the time investment for that is actually significant to get that sign off.
Yeah. And it gets even more significant the higher up the quality ladder you get.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, like you said, you charge accordingly.
Yeah. That's
You
exactly.
know, and that cost will come spread across the project.
Yeah.
You know, so it could be an insignificant amount of cost at the end. You know, but because like you said at the beginning, you know, you don't devalue yourself.
Correct.
And that comes in the way you conduct business as well as the way you price yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Then.
because are you being paid now by yourself for answering them emails?
I don't. The thing is, I don't. It's really difficult because my mindset when it comes to doing it is doing what I do. I don't even think about that. It sounds silly. I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't because it's it's just emails has become my life.
Yeah.
Which is not about. It's not it's not a bad thing because I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's still got to put bread on the table, though, hasn't it?
We all have, yeah. That's the thing. It's. I feel like I have. I think the way you got to look at it is, well, I'm sure you were in the same position exactly when obviously with Golem and stuff like that. Is that when you've got staff or when you've got people working for the business, their family, they're people that depend on them. They kind of come under your they're depending on you as well to do. You know what I mean? So I feel like I have this huge dependency on me. So that's why, even though I do I'm still sitting here at 10 o'clock at night still doing emails. But the reality is that because of that, subconsciously and in the back of my mind, I don't really. It doesn't really affect me that way. I just think that I've got to do it. It's got to be done, and I enjoy doing it. As I said, every email I used to send when I was in recruitment, every email I used to send was for someone else's benefit. Yes, proportionately, I'd maybe get a percentage of it for commission or whatever, blah blah. But with this, it's different because it's for me. It's for all the guys.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
I don't feel like it's like I'm doing something for someone else's benefit, if that makes sense. So it's really weird. I used to, as I said, when I was 15, 16, working in home base or B&Q, where it was one of my first jobs, just as a weekend kind of thing. The guy used to be there every hour, early, late, and I used to think, I never want to be that guy. But the reality is that I've become that guy because
But that's passion.
Yeah.
If it's passion and it's fun and your eyes are open when you've gone into that, then it's all fine and dandy. But when you get these new commission painters that they set out and they go, all right, well, a marine takes me an hour. I want to earn £10 an hour, so I'll charge £10 a marine. Off we go, da. And all of a sudden you realise that, hang on a minute, why am I only making 30 quid a day? Well, it's because the other 5 hours you sat there answering emails and you ain't charging for it. And that guy that gives up his job without taking into account those things, all the amount of time he might sit on a mail order, ordering everything for his clients, because most clients don't want to buy it, do they? They want you to buy it. They want you to get it from the post office. They want you and blah, blah, blah. And, anyone thinking of commission painting should consider time for shit that isn't painting. That is time consuming. You're there at 10 o'clock.
This is the big conundrum of it.
That is reality.
It is, yeah. Even though things now, the role that I perform and the things that I do are very different from what I done when I started Siege. I do look back and think, my God, how do I do everything? When I was like, how do I actually do everything? How do I actually do it? Do you know what I mean? But you got to.
I was lucky. Most other people were doing it for me. If I'm again honest, I have to be humble and honest. No, I was lucky.
Honesty is the best policy. It always is.
It is,
it's just. I think. Commission painting as an industry is very, very different. Everywhere is very different. There's, it's not regulated. It's not, it's not got any set of standards.
Nope.
It's a very, very different kind of industry to any other. I think there's no conformity, because obviously everyone art. Yeah. So it's a very interesting industry, and it's a very, it's very, very, very different.
It's interesting I say that, actually. I say it's art. My personal opinion is it's a craft that you can...
It's a trade. It's a trade.
You can make it art. Yeah.
It is a trade, like anything else. Like, hairdressing, builder, plumber, electrician. It's a trade, and it's a skill. So, it's not like... And I don't mean this in a demeaning way for any kind of... but it's not like a job where you turn up at 9 o'clock, go home at 5 o'clock. It's
no.
not easy. It's not...
Late at night is best. That's how I always felt.
Yeah. It is what it is. But I think it's interesting, like the way that, because I can say this to a lot of different people I speak to, like the hobby as a general is getting more and more commercialised over, commercialised over the last 2-3 years. It's hugely become more commercial in the sense of different companies and things like that. In the way that it is growing, and it's all good. Like, it's good because it's not this niche. Even though we're still a niche industry, hobby, painting, people would build scenery, people would do all these other bits and bobs. It's not so much seen as this, as this sort of garden shed sort of thing anymore. It's not. Progressed massively.
Well, two things indicate that to me. Maybe there's more. The first thing is Kickstarters.
Yeah, hugely.
The amount of money, whether that's profit or not, is none of my business. But the amount of money being thrown at Kickstarters is mind-boggling. Yeah. And anybody can do that. And if anybody wants advice for Kickstarters, I've been through a few. So, there's advice here if anyone needs it. Although they weren't my Kickstarters,
they're an absolute.
But I've definitely seen other people make the mistakes. So that's one thing. The first thing is Kickstarters, but the second thing is digital sculpting. Mm-hmm. How good are sculpts now? Anyone can just go, right, here's a new miniature range, and it's going to look freaking amazing.
Correct, yeah.
Because...
like the way things have progressed over the last 3 to 5 years, since I remember 2012 and stuff like that. Some of the miniatures. GW as a company, obviously, the stuff they produce is just absolutely second to none. Like they're leagues ahead of a lot of other companies, independent companies and things like that. And that's precedent in all the models they're releasing of recent, like Blackstone spoke about, obviously some of the other things that have come out and stuff. But when you look at what people are able to do now, if you buy a 3D printer, and I'm not familiar with the software or programs that are used for that kind of stuff, but the reality is, when you look at what people are now able to produce at home compared to, say, traditional sculpting of the last sort of 10 years or so, the gap is closing massively, really quickly, between what's able to be done at home and on the software on the computer. It's incredible how, to think in the next 5 to 10 years how much further things will progress. I think GW will always lead the field. They always will. They've been doing it the longest. They've got the capital and the finances to push and be ahead of the game always. I foresee. But I think that the home-based printing will get to a point where it is, still, a quality perhaps of what we're looking at now from a lot of companies, but within the next 5-10 years or so, it's going to be it's really interesting. Really, really interesting the way things are progressing.
Exciting.
Yeah,
definitely exciting.
Going back to what I was saying, it's the community but the industry in general is getting so much more commercialised, which is brilliant. There's more and more trade shows happening. There's more and more, companies springing up. There's more and more. It's growing at such a. Obviously, you've got GW in national press because of their shares. You've got, it's not.
30 seconds remaining, mate.
Yeah. So what's that? A couple of seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah, 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Cool. Well, no, it's been good chatting, dude.
Mate, I love doing this stuff, mate.
It's been really, really
good.
So,
thank you.
No, well, good.
Cheers. Cheers for doing it.
But yeah.
No, neither was I. I just wanted to play guitar, so
yeah.
Thank you.
Catch you soon.